115 people on this call. Welcome everyone. I'm Michiel Sino. I'm hosting today's call all about India market. It's the workshop. It's the workshop that we did last week on the boat when we were with our global team elite trip. We're repeating that now to you. You're the first group to get all of this information. So exciting times, exciting hour, I hope, I'm sure. Some housekeeping. There's no translation tonight. Sometimes we do translation in multiple languages. Today there's not. However, in Zoom, the app does offer transcription. So if you want to have subtitles, you can find that in the app. Also, we are taking questions in the Q&A. I am quite sure that most questions will be answered during the presentation. But if there's any unanswered questions, we will handle them at the end of the call. I also want to ask you not to record the call. We're not recording it. I don't want you to record it or make pictures. The reason is that we're still working on some of those elements. So we don't want these presentations to go out and be presented again. We want to make sure that we give you the most accurate information. And again, as I said, some of the elements are still work in progress. So if you do have needs or further questions after this call, please reach out to any of the corporate team and we'll help you get what you need, but please respect the fact to not record it or make pictures. Yeah, so that's it. I think it's time to get started. My role is very short. I'm just introducing this fantastic webinar. As I said, it follows the live sessions that we did last week on the cruise ship with our global team elite when we were in Greece. And the momentum is massively building globally. Everybody is looking very much forward to the opening of this exciting new market, not just people building in India, but in the whole world. It also shows a great ambition that we as Nu Skin have, and opening the biggest market to date. So very, very exciting. Today, you're going to get information on the product portfolio for India. We're going to be zooming in on the compensation plan, business insight. We also have two fantastic UK leaders that are currently building in the UK, getting ready for the opening later in India. You will hear their testimonial. It's Amrita and Shachni, who will be sharing their story. So I think very inspirational testimonials for sure. Again, you will have the opportunity to do questions in the chat. We'll try to answer them as we go, and otherwise we'll do that at the end. But I think that's it for me. I want to introduce two of my very special colleagues that I've been spending the last week with in Greece, and we were even a few days earlier to have global meetings. And these are two very, very committed and dedicated individuals to your success, very much also now dedicated to India. I know they spend most of their time, or at least half of their time, in India. Andrew is even moving there permanently. So we have Mike Keller, who's the Vice President, New Development, New Market Development and Global Sales. And we have Andrew Pushpanandan, this is the Director of the Global and New Market Development and the Business Opportunity Integration. So it's for them almost midnight. I think it's 11:30. So they're joining us live from Mumbai. So Mike, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Michiel, and good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here to share a little bit about India with you. We've got a couple of slides that we're going to be going through during this next hour together. And just to give you a layout of how this discussion is organized, is we're going to share some real high-level insights that really kind of pinpoint and highlight why we're excited about India, the market, the trends that we see happening there, the energy that we feel in the market when we're here, and when we're working on this back at the Provo office with our global teams there. Following that, we're going to talk a little bit about product, and then we're going to turn the time over to a couple of the sales leaders from the UK. We've got Sanji, who's going to share a little bit about her experience, why she's excited about India. And then Andrew's going to take us through a couple of the elements that we're working on for the commission plan for India, as well as a couple of global promotions. Following that, we're going to end with Amrita, who's also going to share some thoughts, and then we'll turn it back over to Michiel. So without further ado, let's jump into this, and really let's talk India. As Michiel mentioned, Andrew and I are over here right now in Mumbai. We arrived yesterday morning, following the conclusion of the Team Elite trip, and this is the discussion that we led on the Team Elite trip. So you're I think the first group to hear it post Team Elite trip. We had some great questions from the Team Elites that were in our meetings, and we've been following up with them. So I'm sure that as you listen to this today, you'll also have questions. I encourage you to reach out to your market sales support teams with those questions, and they'll get them back to us as well. But let's dive into this. So India, first of all, I don't think it's any mystery or any surprise to anybody on the call that India is the most populous country in the world. What we are getting excited about as we look at India is really the demographic breakdown, particularly in the population, with 65% of the population being under 35, the median age being 28. We've got a lot of millennials and a lot of Gen Zs throughout the country as well. These are the prime years we've identified in the company for people who are really looking to join an opportunity. They're trying to create something for themselves in the future. They're questioning usually in their first job or second or third job coming out of university, and they're starting to question what they're going to be doing for a longer period in their life. And as we see this, this is really the prime age where we see people joining the company that really are looking for an opportunity. And we see this in India as well. The um, people that we come in contact with, we're meeting with right now, we see a lot of very educated, very motivated people that are looking for opportunities. And we believe that the population demographic breakdown in India is prime for what we have to offer from a new skin business opportunity perspective, as well as from a product consumption perspective. When we look at the middle class in India, it's a growing middle class. Right now, we're about 300 to 350 million people that are India middle class. That's projected to double within the next 20 years. The middle class in India, in the country, is a little bit different than in many of the markets around the world where we operate. Typically, the middle class salary ranges anywhere from 6,000 US dollars all the way up to about 36,000 US dollars. So again, a different purchasing power, a different economic power. But if you look at the numbers of the people that are in the middle class and emerging middle class, it dwarfs many populations of entire countries around the world. And so this really does also tell us that we need to do things a little bit differently in India in terms of the product uh, portfolio that we launch with and the products that we take to the market. And we'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. In terms of um, how Indians are connecting in India. Uh, these trends that we see and the numbers that we see are really quite astounding, obviously, with 1.06 billion people accessing the internet online via their smartphones, mobile phones. But if you look at then the numbers breakdown here, they're really connecting and joining communities and promoting things in themselves, similarly to how all of us are doing it around the world. So you look at how they're instant messengers in terms of WhatsApp, Facebook, Messenger, WeChat. They're communicating with their mobile phones just like we do. They're into social media, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube. These are some things, and Facebook is actually the largest in the world in India. So we know that people are connecting, they're building community, they're connecting with like-minded people, and they're promoting themselves. They're promoting their businesses online, and they're connecting all around the country. If we look at the direct sales channel in India, it's a 3.4 billion USD channel in India. It's not our largest channel that we're in by any stretch, but it is a growing channel. We've got about 8.6 million active distributors in India. The breakdown for the India in terms of a female to male ratio is a bit different than what we see in a lot of the markets where we operate today. Typically, we have a higher female to male ratio, but in India, it's reversed. What we are seeing, though, is more and more women in India are entering the workforce. More and more women are looking for part-time opportunities to contribute to household incomes. And we're seeing an opportunity here for us as well as we look at these trends. The direct sales channel is growing. It's at an 8.3% 3-year CAGR. So we're actually really excited about this when we see this. We know that we can get in now in a growing channel and really have a good opportunity to grab some market share. If we look at the breakdown of the revenue, wellness is the lion's share of the revenue in the direct sales channel, comprising 74% of total revenue. Beauty is a distant second at 11% in terms of a direct channel, and others is made up of a lot of different product categories. But as we look at beauty and wellness, obviously you know this, it's in our wheelhouse. We're very confident that the products we have can help people look and feel their best. And we believe that we present a very good opportunity for people to build a business around products that are going to be designed for, formulated for, and packaged for Indian consumers. Let's jump into the products real quickly here. We also are looking at wellness trends. So Andrew and I started working on India several years ago. As we dove into this and started conducting market research, we saw some emerging trends. And then COVID hit, everything came to a screeching halt in terms of our market readiness preparation. But the trends that we had identified early on continued all throughout COVID. And in fact, wellness expedited. You saw more and more people becoming aware of the importance of nutritional supplementation, of diet, of the way that they consume products impacting their health. And so even in these numbers here represented really from Euromonitor, from Statista, from some of the research houses that we look at regularly, 74% of Indians today say supplements are essential to their well-being. 63% of Indians are trying to lose weight, and 69% of Indians take supplements for immune support. So as we look at these trends, we know that we've got a portfolio that's going to be able to take advantage of these emerging trends. And we'll cover those products in just a second. From a beauty and personal care perspective, we also see very similar trends, with India being the fourth largest beauty and personal care market in the world in terms of revenue. We also see that the Indian consumers are becoming more and more refined in their approach to skincare. Active ingredients, the awareness around active ingredients and the demand to purchase products that are going to make a difference for consumers, that is all increasing. The number one skincare in India is brightening. That's something that's ubiquitous throughout the market at different price points. And so as we talk about our portfolio in just a minute, we'll highlight some of the products we're bringing to the market to help take advantage of this skincare demand. We're also seeing a shift from more of a mass consumption to more refined products. As Indian consumers have more disposable income, they're demanding better and better products. Let's talk a little bit about how these emerging trends are also impacting our approach to our product portfolio creation and our product portfolio hierarchy. In India, we're going to be very strategic in how we target consumers. We believe that in each one of these price point levels, there is ample demand and a community of consumers who are going to be interested in consuming Nu Skin products. At the premium and luxury at the top of this, we have our ageLOC brand. It's our flagship brand, the highest science, the most active ingredients, the most clinically backed products that we offer as a company. A fast follow would be our Nu Skin and Pharmanex, which we're calling Prestige. These are products that you all know. We have a wide range of products that address different needs that consumers have from both a beauty and anti-aging as well as a wellness perspective. Down below, we look at Mastige. We're going to be talking a little bit about our Serenu Professional line that we've developed specifically for India in just a moment. But we also believe there'll be a big opportunity for us to jump into this channel in terms of salons. And then we are also looking at Nu Skin Within Reach. So this Nu Skin Within Reach is something that we've tried and tested in our Latin America markets over the past couple of years, as well as Southeast Asia, and it's gaining traction. So we believe that there's also a very good opportunity for us to introduce these products. As you look at this hierarchy, you'll also notice the price points. And you may notice that these price points are probably cheaper than the price points where you currently reside and do business. In India, one of our strategies from day one was to figure out how to get the best product in the hands of consumers at the best price. So we looked at the right product at the right price and doing it the right way. We made the decision early on that we were going to be engaging in local manufacturing in India for all of our products. And so over the past couple of years, we've been developing relationships with third-party contract manufacturers and vetting them to make sure that they meet our standards that we have in place for the production facilities that we own and the other vendors that we utilize around the world. And so if you look at ageLOC, the price points that we're looking at for India when we launch ageLOC are going to be anywhere from 25 to 50 plus US dollars. Our Nu Skin and PharmaNex products are going to be right around the range of 18 to 30, but here I would say it's probably 18 and it probably will go up to 40 to $45. Our Masstige line, which is our CeraNu Professional, here it says 10 to 20. That's where the bulk of the portfolio will be focused, but we'll have a few outliers at a couple of higher price points as well. And then the Nu Skin Within Reach, as we start to plan what that will look like in India, that'll be at a much more affordable price point. Again, helping us dive deeper into the demographics in terms of consumers as well as business builders. Let's talk a little bit about PharmaNex. Everything we do in India will be anchored in the Prism IO. So you may have heard about this. I know that we've talked quite a bit about this at the Team Elite trip, and markets have also been starting to get the word out that Prism IO is coming towards the end of this year. Well, in India, we want to launch Prism IO at the same time we open up the market, and we're going to be offering products that are specifically targeted for created with the Indian consumer in mind and targeted to address their health needs and also linked to Prism. So these will also be SCS certified products. They come with a money back guarantee because we're confident that as the consumers take these products, they're going to feel a difference and they're going to be able to measure the difference in terms of their Prism IO results. One thing about LifePak Core, you'll notice that it's not called LifePak in India. We're calling this LifePak Core. This is a product that's being designed specifically to address vitamin and nutrient deficiencies in India, based on a lot of research that our global product development team has done. We feel like we're going to have a very competitive product at a very aggressive price point to capture consumers, as well as to enable our brand affiliates to build a business around products that really do make a difference in consumers' lives. Additionally, you'll look on the right-hand side, we've got TRMe. This will look a little bit different in India as well. It won't be the full product portfolio initially that we have, for example, in Southeast Asia or in other markets around the world. We're going to be focusing on protein meal replacements, as well as two of the components from the TRMe line that we have in other markets, specifically Slim S and My Edge. These package designs that I've got up here really just for illustrative purposes only. What I want to convey in this slide is that the PharmaNex products that we have will be formulated locally in India, developed in India, packaged in India. They're just going to be very specific and unique to India. And now as we look at Nu Skin, these are representative of the initial launch portfolio that we'll be introducing in November. You'll see that there are several SKUs. We've got a vitamin C serum, which has a brightening claim associated with it. Then we'll have a light moisturizer, our LumiSpa cleanser that will be paired with the LumiSpa device, which we'll also be launching. And then we'll have a glow toner and sunscreen. So I believe that the data point that we researched, I believe it was 65% of all consumers utilize SPF on a daily basis. And so we know that this is a big market for us. In India, it's an important and growing product usage trend that we plan to take advantage of. With the Nu Skin line, we're going to solidify our positioning as a premium player in the market with the LumiSpa and the LumiSpa treatment cleanser. And then our Nu Skin devices, our Nu Skin products here that we're launching for the Cleanse, Tone, Treat, Moisturize, they will also be, again, at better price points for the Indian consumer. And this will be the first foray into launching a larger Nu Skin portfolio as we move forward. But this will be available when we launch the market in our qualified pre-launch entry in November. The next product line I want to talk about and introduce to you is CeraNew. So CeraNew products are products that we developed actually towards the end of last year. As Andrew and I were doing our research in India, we identified a real, probably unique market practice. It's different in many of the markets where we operate around the world in that many Indian consumers visit a salon on a weekly or every other week basis. It's where they go for their skin treatments. It's where they go to get insights on how to take care and address issues that maybe they're experiencing with their skin. And it's just very much a part of the culture here throughout India. You have anything from luxury high-end salons all the way down to um, medium price salons, and then you're just really your mass salons, your mom and pop shops that are all throughout the country. And as we looked at this, we thought, well, what a great opportunity we can have if we can introduce a professional line that is built just for salons in terms of bringing them into the direct sales model that we have. We actually interviewed quite a number of salons, and in those interviews, it came out loud and clear that salons are always looking for ways to increase their revenue streams. They're looking to introduce new products to their consumers, new services to their consumers that are going to help them retain them on a long-term basis. And so, as we developed this line specifically in mind with um, enabling salons to be a part of our new skin direct sales channel. So with this, you'll have the opportunity as you um, start to establish your organizations in India through your India eligible brand affiliates. They'll be able to go and sign salons into um, our network, along with giving them a portfolio that's relevant for them because it's branded as a professional line, and it will be something that they can learn about and use. One of the, just as an aside, as we did our market research with this, we spent quite a bit of time meeting with salons and actually in salons having them test these products. The feedback that we got from them was very positive. They liked it. They liked the packaging. They liked the look and feel of the products, and they were generally very excited about this. Another reason that we went to salons initially to get some insights is because we also learned that many Indian consumers are reticent or they're somewhat concerned about using a device on their skin at home for fear that they might cause some damage to their skin. So as we started to introduce this handheld galvanic device, obviously galvanic spa, but in some of these high-end salons, you see the big European galvanic machines that are being used, but this handheld device is kind of a novelty. And many people were not familiar with it. And so as we started explaining it to them, the conversation always gravitated then towards the LumiSpa. The LumiSpa was so easy and intrinsic for them to use, and it was so demonstrable. We had people who were really excited about their experience with it and couldn't wait to get their hands on it. So we do believe that there's a great opportunity for us in salons to bring them on and for you to bring them into your organizations as you build India. The portfolio that we have here, and this, I don't know how this is showing on your computer screens, but this is a brightening serum. It's been designed to pair specifically with the Galvanic Spa. We have a LumiSpa cleanser as well, a CeraNew is designed to pair with our LumiSpa. And also the LumiSpa and the Galvanic devices are branded CeraNew as well in this portfolio. We have a gel cream, a clay mask, a pH balance toner, and a brightening toner. So again, it goes back to addressing some of those emerging trends around brightening and really large trends, I guess I should say, around brightening. We've also put together a couple of different service suggestions. So for services that salons can utilize with these products, we've got a glow facial being one of them. So now we're going to get into the business insights, but before we do this, Sanji is going to join the call for a minute and just talk a little bit about her excitement for India, what she's doing to prepare and build her organization in the UK, in preparation for the upcoming launch. So without further ado, I'll bring Sanji on and I'll jump off the call. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mike. I'm smiling right now because I'm thinking my parents gave me this Indian name with quite a nice meaning, but they really, really didn't help when it came to spelling it and being able to pronounce it. So my name is Sajani. I'm actually a former clinical pharmacist. I'm an aesthetics practitioner and the founder of FaceKind, which is an aesthetics and wellness clinic in Billericay in Essex in the UK. I am honestly so honoured to be part of this pivotal journey with New Skin. So thank you so much for inviting me to be here and share my journey tonight. India is booming right now, and I really don't think there is another word for it. This country is witnessing this incredible economic rise, and they are officially the fourth largest economy in the world. I know Mike did a great job of explaining all the stats, but just to remind everyone, India is boasting a population of 1.4 billion people. Now, that is comparable to China's population, and they've got this median average age of 28 years old. So you've essentially got this young, colossal population, this growing middle and upper class, combined with this deepening interest in beauty, wellness, and self-care. And that's where New Skin comes in. And being, having been part of the company for about 10 months now, I know that they aren't just about selling products. New Skin's mission is so much more than skin deep. It's about empowering people to look good, to feel great, and also to build something of their own. And I know that the people in India want quality, they want that transparency, and they want a brand that's going to align with their holistic values. And I honestly could not think of a more credible company than New Skin to partner with on this venture. Not only that, but as Mike said, the direct sales industry is also growing in leaps and bounds across India. In fact, the industry is already valued at $3 billion and it's expected to reach as much as 8 billion by the end of the year. Now, what is that telling us? It's telling us that direct sales clearly is a trusted and a powerful way for individuals in India to take control of their future. But also, what does this opportunity mean for people like me? Well, as someone of Indian origin, this really is a once in a lifetime opportunity because we can become early pioneers as New Skinned expand into this global powerhouse. And it means that we're going to have the chance to earn market shares as well as founder shares, whilst also giving Indians in India the opportunity to have financial freedom. But also, as a British Indian, this is going to be a profoundly meaningful moment. And, even though I was born and raised in the UK, my roots really are firmly planted in Indian soil. Whether it's values, culture, the food, the clothes, the music, even the stories I grew up listening to, they are deeply rooted in India. So launching New Skin in India is not just a business venture, it's like a homecoming. It's going to be a chance to give back to a country that has given me so much with respect to its heritage, its warmth, and its wisdom. So I'm not going to keep you any longer, but all I want to say is I can see the energies here, the time is right, and together I think we can create something truly amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Sajni. That was really inspiring to hear, and it was my first time hearing it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do together in India. So by way of introduction, my name is Andrew Pushpanathan. I work on the corporate side, as Michiel mentioned. So Mike and I are kind of the team that's in India getting it ready for market launch. So what does that mean? Well, let's talk about what business operations are going to look like in India and what the compensation plan needs to look like or will look like in India. To start off, I want to maybe preface everything that I'm going to say with India is going to require a little bit of a mindset shift for most of the folks on the call here. What do I mean by that? Something as simple as just even tactically how you build your business, right? So let's say today you are a brand affiliate in France. It's going to be really easy for you to go to Belgium or go to Luxembourg and sponsor someone there. Fairly easy, right? And you can build a team with them. You can build a team across all of Western Europe. You can get paid commissions out of all of that. India is going to be a little different when it comes to that. As someone who grew up in India, spent the majority of my life in India, I can tell you India is amazing, but it can get maddeningly complex at times. So that's what I'm here to talk to you a little bit about today, give you a little bit of preface on what that different or being different in India is going to look like. So, what does that mean? To kick it off, I want to talk a little bit about who can build in India, right? So, I mentioned a little while ago that India is going to be, well, can be maddeningly complex, and a little bit of this complexity comes from the direct selling regulations and guidelines that India has put forward. It's not bad, right? It's not like direct selling is not allowed. There's just a little bit more additional thought that we need to do in terms of how we conduct business there. So what does that mean? At its core, it means the folks who can actually build a business in India, like physically in India, sponsoring Indians, building a team of Indians, will be fairly limited. And it's going to be limited to a few different groups. So first off is obviously Indian nationals. So folks who live in India today. Obviously, we're not open in India right now, so that group you cannot bring them on until we officially open, have our pre-launch. The second group is going to be non-resident Indians. So these might be folks who have an Indian passport, but for whatever reason today are living outside of India. Maybe they're studying, maybe they're working somewhere in the world. The third group is going to be someone who's called an overseas citizen of India. This is someone who had a link who was Indian at one point in time, or whose parents or grandparents were Indians at one point in time, that will allow them to essentially get this card that's called this Overseas Citizen of India card, that will allow them to go and um, conduct business in India just as an Indian citizen would. In fact, the only difference between an overseas citizen of India and an actual Indian citizen with an Indian passport is that an OCI cannot vote and cannot own agricultural land. That's really it. And for the purposes of today's discussion, this other group that you see on the slide, this person of India origin, let's say it's a very similar group like the OCI group. So in essence, the folks that can build in India, and I'd say with the disclaimer, can build in India with the relative amount of ease are going to be your Indian nationals, your non-resident Indians, your OCIs, and your PIOs. Now, finally, you'll notice that I've also got this last group here who is foreigners with valid Indian business visas, right? So, what does that mean? Well, like I mentioned, with the little bit of complexity that's required for India, you can build a business as a foreigner in India. It's just going to take quite a bit of work. So, you will need to go and procure a Indian business visa. You will also have to create a business entity, create a bank account, get your tax ID situation set up in India. And there's quite a bit of similar things things along that line that you will need to do. I'm not sure how many of you here have had to interact with Indian bureaucracy, but trust me, this is not an option for the faint of heart. So while this option is there, it's not something that we as a company are actively recommending, but we will support those who want to go down this path. So you're probably sitting here listening and saying, okay, you just ruled out, I don't know, 80% of the people listening to the call, right? If the only people who can build in India are this group, what's in it for us? Well, that's really what I want to talk to you about, because think about the Indian diaspora. So if we go to the next slide, you can actually look at how many Indians we have outside of India, right? If you add all these numbers up, and this is just the biggest populations of Indians outside of India, there's about 20 million people who are Indian or of Indian origin that are currently living in markets outside of India, markets where Nu Skin operates. Well, what does that mean for you? Well, as I mentioned in my previous slide, you can actually go and sponsor those people today because they are eligible to run Nu Skin businesses in those markets today because Nu Skin is open there. And when the time comes for India to open, they will be eligible to go and build their India business. So what's in it for you? Well, there's this opportunity of, if you don't want to take that harder path of setting up a business in India and building a business entity, you could still find someone who's of Indian origin, talk to them about the products, the opportunity, sign them up, help them understand the plan in your current home market, your current open home market, and build that. And when the time comes for India, we can start helping them build an India account. So that's essentially what's in it for you. Now, I want to take it a little bit step further into what's in it for you when it comes to compensation, right? Because for a while, I would say even last year, after last year's Team Elite meeting that we had in Dubai, we still weren't sure if we could pay foreigners for performance in India. Luckily, that has changed. We've been hard at work with our legal team trying to figure out a solution, and that solution is the global growth pool. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to go into a couple of flows to illustrate for you what this actually looks like. But at the end of these slides, if it might be a little bit too much for you to understand, or there might be too much information overload. If there's one thing that you take away from it, know that as a foreigner, you can qualify to get paid off of India, out of benefit off of India sales. There's just a few things that you'd have to do that. So that's the big picture is yes, you can get paid, you can benefit. Now let's get into the tactics of what that means, right? So let's say you are a foreigner, you are a UK account, you're not an OCI, you're not an Indian national, you're not an NRI. What you can do today is you can go in the UK and find someone who is eligible. So this could be like, for example, let's take Sajni or Amrita, right? They are in the UK today. They're India eligible because they have strong ties to India. So if you're going and sponsoring them today and helping them build a UK business, a global UK new skin business that's based in the UK, that's step one. Well, what's step two? Is if you go to the next slide, you'll see that as we get close to pre-market launch, as long as this UK account that you have sponsored, as long as this non-Indian India eligible account that you have sponsored is a brand rep or above by the time of pre-launch, which is November, they will have the ability to go in and create an Indian account. Now, I want to illustrate this point really clearly. This is not the same account. You'll see these two yellow folks highlighted on the slide. It's the same person, but it's two separate accounts. This is again where some of that Indian complexity comes into play. We cannot have a global account or a global tree or an organization in India. They have to be separate. What does that mean? If you've built a UK business up until launch as a brand rep, you've got a fledgling business going, you can continue to build that business in all of Nu Skin's other authorized open markets. If you want to build in India specifically, because you qualify to participate in the pre-launch window, you can go in and create your India brand affiliate account. And through that brand affiliate account, you can start building a team in India that starts and ends in India. What does that mean? Well, if you go to the next slide, you'll see this visualized, right? Even though you've got this yellow person that's both the same person, you'll notice that they've started building out into India, right? They're going and finding brand affiliates in India. They're finding customers. They're becoming brand reps. They're creating breaks. All of this will allow them to become an India leadership team. Now, as long as this person that you personally sponsored in the UK, who then went on to create an India account and an India leadership team with a certain amount of sales, we're still finalizing that. But as long as you've gone through these steps and you have this personally sponsored person in with an India account building in India, you will qualify for the global growth pool. That's going to be your monetary compensation of how you can benefit from India. And from a positioning perspective, what does that mean? It means that we are compensating you in your home market, not from India. We're compensating you in your home market for supporting and mentoring this person. For example, this UK person, you have supported and mentored this UK person in the UK, and that has allowed them to go and build a global business. So you're compensating off of that. The value of this compensation is going to be approximately equal to what you would do if India had a lead bonus. So that's the compensation aspect of the global growth pool. So the big picture, like I said, to take away from this is even as a foreigner, you have an opportunity to participate in India. And the way to do that right now is to go and find your India eligible folks in Nu Skin's current open markets. Now, I don't know how many of you remember last year, we put out this thing called a founders program. So in the next slides, I want to talk to you a little bit about that founders program because back then we weren't entirely sure if we could pay foreign participants and how we could pay them. So that founders program was meant to be kind of an intermediary stopgap on what could happen. Now, just as I've showed you, we can pay foreigners through the global growth pool. So what does that mean for the founders promotion? Well, first off, I don't know how many of you remember the old founders promotion, but it was fairly complex. So what we did was we simplified it to the extent that you could probably, if you understand the global growth pool, you could explain it to anyone because the crux of it to participate in the founders promotion, which will be a temporary promotion in the pre-launch window, you will just get 2 times whatever you're going to get in global growth pool. So if you're going to get $100 in global growth pool, if you're eligible for the founders promotion, that's going to double, right? So that goes from 100 to 200 in total. As an international participant, to participate, all you need to do is to be a Ruby Plus account during the pre-launch window, so which is November onwards, between November and the official launch, as long as you are a Ruby Plus brand rep in your home market, you are going to qualify for the founders promotion, which is double growth pool. Now, we know that you could also be a founder in India, right? So, like Sajni and Amrita can be India founders themselves because while they have UK accounts, when India opens, they can also go into India and build teams there. So, that's the scenario that'll be in the next slide, which talks about what is the founders promotion for an India eligible person. So this is a little different where all you would need to do is go into India, create your India account, and as long as you are a gold plus brand rep, so in other words, you have at least one breakaway, you are going to get 2 times your lead bonus. Simple, very simple, right? So if you're a gold, you normally get 5% off your first generation. If you qualify for the founders promotion, which in India just means you'll have to be a gold plus in the in the pre-launch window, you're going to get 10% off of your G1. So it's that simple. And I'm really excited to see what we can do with this because I don't know what other um, way there is to throw a ton more oil into this fire because our 5% 6 level story is the core of who we are. And we're saying we're going to double that story for the pre-launch window. That's some insane compensation and incentives that we're throwing because we believe there's a lot of potential to be gained in those initial few months for the India launch. So now we've talked about global growth pool, which is what you guys as international participants could get paid. And then we've talked about the founders promotion, which is the doubler for the pre-launch window. Let's talk a little bit about what the comp plan is going to be in India, right? I mentioned India is different. It's got these different regulations. So a lot of that has also informed our thinking into what the sales performance plan in India needs to be. So at its core, the founding principles are really that it needs to be simple, it needs to be flexible, and it needs to be localized. What does that mean? Well, you should be able to explain it in a couple of minutes. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to walk you through what this plan is. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that at its core, there's really 3 things that you need to understand about the India plan. One, because India is its own contained ecosystem, the volume doesn't flow outside of India, it's its own organization. We don't have to deal with concepts like SV or CV, things that might be complicating folks when you're talking to them about our products and the opportunity. Everything's going to be based on currency because everything can be kept inside India. Additionally, it's going to be a little harder to sign up as a brand affiliate because there's a bunch of paperwork that you need to fill in, one of which requires also getting a license from the government. So we're adding this concept of a qualifying brand affiliate, essentially making sure that whoever is a brand affiliate is someone who has the actual intent of building a business with Nu Skin. And finally, simplifying in the spirit of simplifying, going from 4 bonuses to 3. And I want to be very mindful when I'm saying 4 bonuses to 3. That doesn't mean we're reducing payout. We're just taking our existing 40% that's split across 4 bonuses today globally and allocating that to 3 different bonuses. So what are those 3 different bonuses? Really simple. So the very first bonus is going to be what we're calling an L1 bonus. Name is still to be determined. It might be called something else, but essentially that's what it is. It's a bonus that helps you earn up to 25% as a pricing differential on all of your personal sales, which means you as an affiliate, you're able to buy products at a certain price. If you sell products to your customers, they buy it at a slightly higher price. You get the difference between the price, and that could be up to 25%. That's the L1 bonus. Easy peasy. The next bonus is an L2 bonus. Now, this is for someone who's got that good personal sales going, but then they've also started to build a network of other affiliates, right? Other affiliates who are going and selling. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to say we'll pay you 10% on that second level, which is what we're calling it L2. We'll name also TBD, but you'll get 10% on that second level as an affiliate. But if you want to earn even more, you would just go through the normal brand rep qualification where you could earn up to 25% on all of your L2 sales. And when we mean all L2 sales, we mean all L2 sales. So we're not limiting to if you've got an affiliate on on your second level or a brand rep on your second level, we will still pay on that. So that's how simple it's going to be because up until now, when I've talked to you about L1 and L2, you could explain it as simply as saying, go and sell and find others that sell, and you're going to benefit. That's L1 and L2. What's the third bonus? Well, the third bonus is the core of who we are, right? It's our lead bonus. It's 5% 6 levels down. Now, while for our international folks, we're paying through a global growth pool. In India, we are taking the business risk to say we will be paying our 5% 6 levels because that is the core of who Nu Skin is as a business. That's what drives us as we are a leadership driven company. That's where we're going to be paying what we always pay. I want to point out that this is a calculated business risk that the company is taking, but it is something that we believe is so core to who we are that we cannot go away from it. In addition, India is going to have a little bit of difference where in addition to the 5% across 6 levels, you'll also get 5% on your G0. In other words, 5% on your circle group. So this bonus in combination with the L2 bonus that I mentioned earlier, that kind of replaces what the build bonus is today, as you might know it. So that's really the plan as we want to talk about it today, as I wanted to share with you. Very simple, right? So sell products and find others that want to sell products. That's L1 and L2. And as you start to build your team, you get a lead bonus. That's the India compensation plan. Very simple. Now, that's the conceptual strategy of it. Now, how do we make sure that we're actually um, acting on it? How do we make sure we're actually building the way for you to go and action on it? India is a tech-savvy population, so we want to make sure that we're very digital first on this approach. I want to share with you something that Ryan shared last week on our Team Elite trip that Charlie Patterson had shared with him. It was this concept of small vision, big problems, big vision, small problems. In other words, when things don't go your way, it's really easy to kind of gravitate on them and kind of make them into bigger problems. And it's especially too easy to do that when you have smaller visions. So as a company, we're saying we want to work with you guys to make sure we've got this big vision, the big vision being Prism.io and India. Two huge opportunities for us over the next couple of years. We want to focus on that big vision and we want to make sure that all we have is just small problems, not big problems during that window. Part of which is our technology approach. So in the next slide, what I'm going to talk about is to say, even when we think about what we need for technology in India, we're going to be very simple. We want to have the bare bones, not the bells and whistles. What does that mean? For our November pre-launch, we will make sure we have a working website where you can sign up, search, share, subscribe, and share products. We will make sure that you have a Prism app because we want Prism to take India by storm, just as it's taking the world by storm. And then we will make sure to have a website version of VNG because you need to know how to understand how to run your business. Those are the three things that we're going to be putting all of our efforts on. Now you'll notice I didn't talk about Vera or Stella or product offer. Those are going to be fast followers, and we're going to do our best to make sure they're there by November. But like I mentioned before, we want to focus on the bigger vision. So if that means we just have the bare bones initially and get everything else as quickly as we can, that's what we're going to do to make sure that you guys can also understand the bigger vision and not have to worry about the smaller problems that come along the way because market launches, as best as we can, there are going to be things out of our control that might not work as well. So we need to make sure that we're accounting for that. And that's what's prioritizing our digital approach. Now, that being said, my time with you is coming to a close, but before we wrap it up, I want to bring on another leader to stage to share with you her stories and why she's excited about India. I got the opportunity to meet her in Provo a couple of weeks ago, and I was really amazed with the depth of her knowledge, how product focused she was, and just how excited she is to talk about India and to take it by storm. So please join me in welcoming Amrita to talk about why she's excited on India. Amrita, if you're speaking, you are mute.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you so much for that intro. First of all, it is a huge honor to be asked to be on this call today, and I just kept seeing those numbers going up, which is just incredible. So this month actually marks my year anniversary with Nu Skin, and we talk about why we joined Nu Skin, and for me, as someone who is a dentist by background but now has my own clinic, the products, I knew the products were amazing. I loved them from the moment that I used them. Um, but India really got me excited. I knew in my gut that I had to explore this, and I genuinely believe that it landed on my lap for a reason. And I've had the privilege of going out to Utah not once but twice. And like Andrew said, to sit on a table with Andrew and Mike and hear about what's coming is just absolutely exciting. It gives me goosebumps, and I want to share with you what I'm doing to help grow my India network. So, when I first heard about India, the simple fact that I have my OCI, I knew that I was in a primed position. And this was something that I knew would be a once in a lifetime opportunity. It excited me. This business is something completely different to what I've ever done before, but at the same time, it is so aligned with everything I believe in: skin, wellness, beauty. And so it was ticking all the right boxes. I decided to hit the ground running. I built my business by both introducing customers to the products, but also sharing the opportunity with my network. Now, as Indians, we are known for our entrepreneurial spirit and our mindset. I don't know whether it's, the way we've been brought up in quite traditional ways, a lot of expectation. I did things the way that I was expected to. I went to university, I got into healthcare. And our parents, some of them worked all the hours of the day, multiple jobs for us. And I think a lot of our generation don't want to work in that way. And we want to show our children that we can work smarter, but still provide an amazing life for our families. So, reaching out to my network, the actual conversation is a lot easier because people are more open minded to the business model and the opportunity. And when you talk about India, Indians know how lucrative India is going to be. And I have had loose conversations with friends and family. I've had more in-depth conversations with my professional network, Zoom calls, the opportunity calls, face to face. I love getting face to face with people because that's where people really see that passion and that authenticity in what you're trying to share. And I genuinely believe that integrity and speaking from the heart is what everyone here needs to do. We are in this business because we love the company, we love the products, and we love the community that we've got here. And that's one thing that Indians are all about, is community. And I think if you can really emphasize that, everyone will want to be a part of it. Now, like Saj mentioned in her testimonial, the fact that we are taking this back to India is something that sits very close to our hearts. It is so deep rooted within us. We don't even have to have been born there or have visited every year. There's just something that draws you back to India: the culture, everything, the food, the love. And to be able to take Nu Skin to India, where we can help people not only with their health and their wellness, but also give people, and this was touched on earlier in the call, but to give women that opportunity to change their circumstances, it really makes me quite emotional. And I have goosebumps when I think about how many lives we are going to change. And it's perfect timing. India and Prism working together is just going to be phenomenal. And, you don't have to be Indian to get involved. If you know anyone within your network, a friend, a colleague at work, a friend of a friend, get talking, get sharing, and that will be your access point. Like Andrew mentioned, working within India is an absolute, it's not easy. And what I would say to anyone who's on this call as a brand affiliate but has not yet registered their OCI, please, please, please make that as your priority, because without that, you're gonna miss the window. We are in this at the very beginning. We are all sitting on something that's just going to absolutely change everything. So don't sit on it, don't wait, get the ball rolling. Thank you. I'm going to pass on to Michiel now to finish up.
Thank you so much, Rita. It's I'm very excited myself. I wish I could start recruiting, but unfortunately, as a corporate person, you can't. But I want to thank Andrew and Mike, Amrita, and Shashni for the inspirational, the information. I think we had a lot of information. I have a few more questions that I see that I wanted to maybe see if Andrew or Mike you can answer. There's a question about if there's any idea already how the physical launch will look like. Is there going to be an event? Is there going to be on multiple locations? Is there anything that you can already share right now? That's one of the questions I got. Maybe Andrew.
Yeah, I can speak to that at a high level. So we've talked, you might be aware that we have a pre-launch period in India that's starting November 1st, which means that anyone who is a brand rep in your home market will and is India eligible will be able to go and create an India account as of November 1st. Well, what does that mean from a tactics in India? We know that in India, most of the direct sales is actually happening in the north and northwest parts of India and the northeast parts of India. Northeast has some infrastructural, it lags a little bit when it comes to infrastructure. So, from a company perspective, we're putting a lot of our initial emphasis into the north and northwest part of India. And the northeast is going to be a really fast follow because the consumers in the northeast are amazing at understanding our products. So, what does that mean in terms of events? We will very likely have major events in the major top tier one cities in the north and northwest, which are obviously Delhi and Mumbai. So you can expect to have events in those areas at a minimum, and the rest will need to be decided as we see business pick up in that pre-launch period. What those events are going to be, the timing, all of that still remains to be confirmed. But you can expect to have some sort of roadshows that we will have in that pre-launch period in those major cities.
Great.
Mike,
Thank
anything
you.
you'd add to that?
Just that we will communicate these well in advance so you can prepare accordingly if you're interested in participating in them.
Yeah, great. There's also a question more product related. The question if there will be PIPs for the products that we're launching. I guess so, right?
So in terms of the product portfolio, we're working on the different assets that we will be releasing as we near the launch of the pre-launch period. We will start posting those and making those available probably a few months prior to launch.
Okay. And I think another question was before and after pictures. Are we creating them, getting them as part of the launch materials?
Yeah, Katie, I was actually just typing an answer. No, we don't have that right now. Obviously, as you go out and build your businesses and the way that you do your befores and afters and your very demonstrable product demonstrations, we think the power of that lies with the brand affiliate and the user-generated content that they create and share on their social media sites. We do have things like that globally that the corporate office prepares, but we have not done anything like that for India yet.
Okay. And then I think the last product one is are the sales only in kits or are we also selling individual units of the
Yeah, so
facility?
initially our thinking and the strategy is to focus more on a kit-based approach to drive the affiliate engine. In the early months of India, we won't have an affiliate base built out just yet. So we want to have somewhat of that focus on building that affiliate base out before we get to the single kits, the single unit aspect of it. Now, that being said, these kits that we're building aren't kits in the traditional sense. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that we're going to actually put them in like special packaging and fit them together. It's actually going to be a technology play where they'll be treated as a product bundle, which means that in the front end, you will see it as a kit and you'll be able to buy it as a kit. But it's as simple as us just going and turning off a switch and saying, hey, these are no longer sold as a kit, they're sold as single items. So we'll be looking at the data in the initial months, seeing how the kit sales are going. And if it makes sense to allow single item sales, we will be on that as quickly as we can.
Perfect. Okay, I think it's 2 minutes past 9. I think I want to thank all the speakers for all the information and the inspiration. It's been really valuable call for us. I'm sure we had nearly 700 people at the peak. So there's a massive interest, Mike and Andrew. So, watch Europe coming for India. I would say it's a massive opportunity. I would say we are doing very well if I look at the global activities, and we will even go faster from here. So we're really looking forward to that. Yeah, at the end, so what to do if you just listen to this call? What is the call to action? My suggestion: just get involved. Make sure you get involved. Speak to people, speak to India eligible people, but also everybody else. I think Amrita said it well. We have already 23 markets open here in our own region, and there is many connections to be made. So please go out, speak, pitch, build your business, and train your teams. Focus on sponsoring, and build an India eligible brand web for yourself or a team, so you get ready for November. And it all starts with setting a right goal for yourself. What do you want to achieve? This is a hugely unique opportunity. We're not opening up markets very often, and definitely not the biggest country in the world. So, it is a huge opportunity. It's a pioneering opportunity. So, yeah, I'm very excited about it. As I said, we will share information as we get more in. I've had people asking about slides. We'll be working on that. We'll share as soon as we can share that. Another thing I want to say, next call that we will be setting up will be only for VA eligible, Indian eligible people already, because we want to keep it also a bit exclusive. So there's an extra reason for you to start finding people and registering. So we'll make sure we keep speaking to you. So again, thank you for all the speakers. Thank you for joining tonight. Wishing you a great night, and we'll speak soon again. Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Good
Thank
evening.
you.
Bye.